Knott's have had a decent season, and it's good to be in the Cup, and then also pushing into hopefully the playoffs. And just getting out of this National League, because we all want to see the club back where it belongs.
Perhaps it's something to have an Irish skipper at the football club, because if they were to lift some silverware, of course it would be Michael Doyle, who would be the man who'd have his hands wrapped around the trophy, hopefully at Wembley, as I say. A reminder, Doyle not in the starting 11 this evening, as we are underway now. Aldershot taking the early ball forwards, and out for a Notts throw in it goes. Dion Kelly-Evans will try to get there, and the first throw in comes back at him and then smacks it away down the right hand side, and Christian Dennis will try to chase. They've got plenty of size back there, do Aldershot, in those 4 centre halves, but you would think, John Thompson, they're probably not the most mobile. Now, that's not to say that some centre-halves haven't played fullback.
There was a few of us that could do that.
I was going to say,
No.
Some of them have played fullback, some of them haven't, but you look at the size out there, and, I mean, Kuiniate is well over 6 foot tall. Back there as well, Alex Finney, who's playing left fullback, is probably 6'3" himself. So there's size, and with that size, you hope that Notts are able to get in behind them. There's a long throw into the area. It's fallen to Cal Roberts. He takes his touch, crosses it into the edge of the 6-yard box. They've done well back there, resolute in their defence. They've cleared it away, and Panayatu is onto it. He controls it well in the centre circle and then dishes it out towards Tanner on the right-hand side. They've got men forwards. Tackle made back there by Jim O'Brien, and a good tackle at that. For a moment I was just wondering whether
he might have got away with that one
or a corner kick, but either way it's a goal kick.
Yeah, Jim O'Brien flew into that tackle there very early in the game to do so, and I think he was a little bit lucky because he did catch the Aldershot winger there, but the ref didn't give it and he's just let play on, so it's a goal kick here for Notts. But they've had a decent start there. They've played most of the game so far in the Aldershot half, and look like they're starting with a quick tempo, and I think that would have been the message from the manager tonight, because he's put fresh legs in that team for a reason. He wants them to really start at 100 miles an hour against an Aldershot team who, at Dagenham at the weekend got beaten 1-0 to a late goal, and they'll be a little bit low in confidence, so they need to really take the game to them in the early stages.
And is there anything into what I'm saying about the 4 centre halves this evening and being able to get in behind them?
There definitely is, yeah. As we know, centre halves are generally a bit slower to turn than fullbacks. It's a man down here.
Clash of heads between Damien McCrory and see who that is down there. I think it's Craig Tanner for Aldershot. Referee wasn't all that aware of it. Neil Ardley's not particularly happy that the referee wasn't switched on this occasion. The man in the middle this evening is Simon Mather. Ardley, as I say, not happy that he wasn't aware that the clash of heads had happened. Everybody else in the stadium, I think, was. And McCrory looks to be the one who's come off the worst of the two. Still down at the moment, just sitting back up. So that's an encouraging sign. Whereas Craig Tanner never hit the deck, really, but certainly took a sore one. And the club doctor for Aldershot just having a look at him to see whether or not he's suffering any ill effects from it. Of course, if he wasn't able to carry on, we've only played 3 minutes, it is goalless, but if he wasn't able to carry on, Damien McCrory, as I can see the physio has given him an ice pack to stick on that, the old magic ice pack. It must do wonders.
He won't be able to play with that, unfortunately, so I'm not sure how long he's going to be able to keep that ice on his head, but it was a full-blooded challenge. Damien McCrory's not one to pull out of a tackle, or a header in that case, and it happens in football quite a lot, clash of heads, but both players look to be okay at the moment as they're coming back on. The ice pack is gone now. It's done the job, Charlie.
All it took was about 8 or 9 seconds. Like the magic spray or the magic sponge, they all have their impacts. Could he not chin strap that onto the top of his head and gradually it would melt? Probably not. The referee's going to resume play with Aldershot on the right-hand side, try to play a ball down the inside right channel up towards Panayatu, but it's easily intercepted by Long. And now Enzio Baldwin looks to play one down the left side. Kyle Wootton, the onward runner who he was trying to pick out on this occasion. Both players back on. And McCrory takes the throw-in. And for the time being, showing no ill effects of that clash of heads. Lacey across to Dion Kelly-Evans. 4 on the clock here. Match night on BBC Radio Nottingham. Kuiniate tries to play it away down the Aldershot left, but he's spooned it out almost into the very small area of the Jimmy Cyril stand that the Aldershot supporters are gathered, and I don't think we're going to get many more through the turnstiles now over in the Cyril opposite, so you're looking at around 100 or so, 120 maybe, and so it's the ball boy's job to leg it into one of the sea of black seats on that far side and try to retrieve the ball, which he's now done and Dion Kelly-Evans can take it. Done really well this season. Has the diminutive fullback, plays on the right and on the left, and looks equally adept on either wing. As Cal Roberts juggles it about in his attempts to maintain possession, and he does. Ball down the right inside channel, this time from Alex Lacey. Not the worst of balls, but perhaps just asking a little bit too much of the players that were forward. Enzio was forward alongside with Kyle Wotton on this occasion, but perhaps a separate wavelength between them and Lacey. Maybe they were wanting it into feet while Lacey was looking to play it into the channel. Wins another towering header, does the well-spoken centre-half onto the right. Turned goalwards and into the Notts penalty area by Craig Tanner. Used to be at Reading as a youngster. Easy claim for the Notts goalkeeper Joe McDonnell. Nearly 6 on the clock here now at Meadow Lane. Notts 0, Aldershot 0. Terrace on the way for you again on Friday evening from 6 o'clock until 7, and then match day on Saturday from 1:30. Full match day with all 3 teams playing, which is almost rarity at this moment. That's a lovely turn from Baldwin onto the left-hand side. Easily ditches his marker. Now he's back in front of him. He shoots over into the penalty area with a cross, but relatively well dealt with by the Aldershot defenders. You just wonder this evening, Tomo, whether or not, because they've got that size back there, whether the balls into the penalty area are going to have to be a little bit cuter to try and beat them. If they're in the air, 4 centre-halves you would like to think are probably going to have their way this evening aerially back there. Yeah,
there has to be quality, and that's what we're looking for Enzio every time he gets that ball, because Baldwin, every time I've watched him play, he always produces. Especially Meadow Lane, I've seen him really destroy teams down that wing, you know, but the quality in the ball has to be there from both sides. But what Notts do have is 2 centre forwards, you know. It's totally different to Aldershot. When they put the ball in, they only have that one man up front, Peniato. So with 2 strikers, you'd expect a bit of quality into the box, and they should be able to win headers and get shots on target, and that's what Notts will be looking to do at every stage. Trying to get down the flanks, I think, is their biggest opportunity tonight.
Aldershot have a throw-in on the far side in front of the Jimmy Cyril stand. As I say, largely empty. Close to the edge of the Notts penalty area, though, so opportunity for Chislett to lob it in there. Tries to turn away, gets to the byline, goes down, wants a free kick, won't get one, and it's smacked back in the opposite direction as Notts clear. And it'll be another Aldershot throw-in just inside of the Magpies half. We're speaking about the virtues of a quick start before kick-off, Tomo, and Notts did fly out of the traps early on. Aldershot just settling themselves.
Yeah, I think it's just been a bit stop-start, hasn't it? I think the game has just had a few niggly incidents in it. There's been a break of play for a clash of heads, and the game's just not really got going or settled down at this stage. There's not really been any real passage of play. One run from Enzio Baldwin is the most really Notts have had so far, but the game should settle down a little bit more. Here's Notts on the attack. Yeah, with Cal Roberts, who's veering infield from the right wing. He's still got the ball, carried it around 40 yards in the end, and then just plays it a touch in behind Damien McCrory on the left-hand side, which slows any potential momentum that Notts were looking to build. Now back to Long, across to Lacey, and Dion Kelly-Evans will receive on the right wing, again a couple yards possibly further back than what he wanted to receive it. Christian Dennis is playing on the last shoulder of the Aldershot defence. O'Brien to Mitchell Rose. Rose, meanwhile, skipper in the Magpies this evening. It's a really poor ball, gives it away to Berkeley Agyapong needlessly as well, as now Jim O'Brien has it after Damien McCrory won it back, but then Rose has again fired one out to this near side, beyond everybody, and out for a throw-in. Couple of moments of poor distribution from the Notts skipper, standing skipper at that this evening. Yeah, he is standing skipper tonight, but he's one of those players in midfield who he's better at the challenging side of it. He's better at winning the ball back, giving it to other players, and just playing the easy ball sometimes. And sometimes when I watch Mitch Rose over the last season or so, he wants to do a little bit too much at times in there, and he should be looking at giving it to Jim O'Brien, who has a little bit more quality on the ball to start attacks rather than him, and just doing that dirty side, because he's very effective at it. You know, he's a big, strong player in that midfield who bosses the midfield, but just sometimes his passing does let him down a little bit. Well, here's Rose again now battling, which is very much in his wheelhouse with Chislett, but Chislett has won it and he's steering himself out onto the left-hand side to buy himself a couple of yards. Now back to Berkeley Agyapong. If he was your favourite player at Aldershot, he'd cost a fortune to get on the back of your shirt. It's gone all the way through to the goalkeeper, Joe McDonnell. Paniatu the target. He's very much the lone striker this evening, and then the likes of Tanner, Chislett and Berkeley Agyapong looking to get forward and support. They've got Yanis Drace there as well, the 26-year-old Frenchman who, as I mentioned, is making his first start for the football club. He signed from Besançon
in France, and I won't sit here in front of you this evening and pretend like I'd heard of that football club before I was doing my research, but that's where he signed from anyway, on loan until the end of the season. Strong tackle, one in the middle of midfield, and here come the shots down the right hand side with Panayiotou. Rowe was leading the break. It's now back to Tanner, who again himself veering infield from the right hand side. He got caught in two minds. He wasn't sure whether he wanted to shoot or try and slip through one of his teammates, and in the end it was a bit of poor passing from him that has given it back to the team in black and white. And now with Carl Roberts hugging the touchline on the far side, Dion Kelly-Evans has offered the overlap, but he's well marshalled, is Roberts, and I'm sure they will have watched the tape from the weekend. They'll know exactly what he's about. He scored so many goals for Blythe in a lower division in the non-league. And here's Rose on the ball. He'll take his time and go simple, go short to Adam Long on the edge of his own penalty area. Long will go long up towards Dennis, who's got a pretty sharp fade by the looks of things. And he does just about enough to put under pressure the Aldershot defender.
Just needs a little bit more quality from Long there on the ball. When he looks up to play that longer pass, he needs to be hitting Wootton more than aiming for Dennis, because Christian Dennis is not going to win those battles with that big Aldershot defence. So he needs to start getting Wootton more involved in this game. He's not really touched the ball so far, and he is that target man.
Still 0-0 here at Meadow Lane. That was John Thompson, the former Notts skipper, as Dennis wins a header. It goes straight out for a throw-in on the near touchline. Ball boy is quickly to it to give it to Fowler, the Aldershot right back. He used to be at Ipswich as a younger man. He's only 22 himself now, so he's dropped through the leagues pretty rapidly. Takes a long throw-in. McCrory wins a header, so does Long. Jim O'Brien wins a 50-50 ball, and Lacey, plenty of composure to Lacey. That is, I think, probably his finest quality, and it's rare to see at this level. He was a little bit unlucky, I think, Lacey, not to have picked up a Football League club, and maybe that bit of poor luck for him is very much Notts' fortune, as Enzio lets the ball run out on the near touchline for a Notts try. And the ball boys really on it quick this evening. I wonder if they've received instructions to try and get the ball back in as quickly as they can to maintain a pace in these early stages. No goals anywhere in the National League just yet, but a reminder there are only 3 games, including this one, that are on this evening. Dagenham and Redbridge against Fylde, Woking against Barnet. The other ones, the 2 Champions League games, don't kick off until 8 o'clock, and only 1 goal to tell you about in the Football League, and that is Carlisle 1, Newport 0. Goalless here, 12.5 minutes on the clock. Notts looking to continue the momentum that they have built of late, hoping to go 3rd in the table with a victory this evening, having won 2-1 at Fylde a week ago and then 2-0 at Barrow just on Saturday. This time in a week we'll be at Torquay, which is only a short journey anyway, isn't it? I hope. It's with Alex Finney on the left hand side, gives it to Berkeley Agyapong, who's being shoved ever further back towards his own halfway line by some good play and good monitoring from Dion Kelly-Evans. Back with the goalkeeper Aldershot now in a bright yellow goalkeeping kit. He knocks it long and away. The goalkeeper Joe McDonnell at the other end makes a good shout that even I could hear from back here at the towards the back of the Derek Davis stand. And Joe McDonnell has the ball at his feet. Plenty of time to pick out a target, and as John Thompson was saying a few moments ago, it has to be Kyle Wootton. He tried to find him this time, but Wootton was being watched closely by the Aldershot defenders. He's got 16 goals to his name so far, does Wootton. Signed from Scunthorpe earlier on in 2020, having signed on loan near the start of the season. Did so well, not spent good money on him. Certainly for the level, somewhere around £50,000 we believe it to be. McDonnell will take the goal kick with 14 minutes on the clock. Again, Wootton is the target. Again, he's well dealt with back there by the Aldershot defence. It's with Jim O'Brien down the left-hand side, up in the air. Wootton will be there. But again, it's Cody Lyons-Foster who is keeping a very close watch on Wootton. I think he might have him for company most of the night. Dennis tries to find Roberts, feels a lot of pressure in his back from Berkeley Agyapong, and goes down, gets a free kick around 10 yards or so inside the Aldershot half. Aldershot 17th in the National League, just the 5 points clear over the relegation zone, so by no means are they safe, home and hosed in the calm waters of mid-table. they struggle to score goals. Fourth worst attack, actually. Only Fylde, Dagenham and Redbridge and Chorley score fewer goals than the Shots, which, given the nickname, is touch ironic. Jim O'Brien with the free kick, curls it into the Aldershot penalty area, far too close to the goalkeeper in the end, Mitch Walker, who gets an easy claim, and then bowls it out quickly onto the left hand side. Looks like that's Chislett in possession. He's now going to give it to Berkeley Agyapong, who's just a touch further infield from him, and now back out onto the left hand side to Chislett. He's got his wrists bandaged, more for fashion I think than injury. And Rowe, an experienced Football League campaigner, is the recipient of the ball in the middle of the Notts half. Enzio coming out onto this near touchline to put pressure on. Fowler now receives it back into the feet of Rowe on the edge of the penalty area, spins, tries to turn it round the corner and slip it in behind the Notts defenders, unable to do so, and so instead it's out for an Aldershot throw-in on the near touchline away to our right hand side, and again close to the edge of that Notts penalty area, so they could go for the long one if they want to. They've chosen not to. Berkeley Agyapong, the left winger, has come all the way across onto the right hand side. Poor clearance away from Adam Long, has got John Thompson shaking his head next to me. Now to Panayatu, ball in low towards the edge of the 6-yard box, cleared away by Lacey, comes straight back towards him thanks to a fancy flick, and Notts are struggling to clear their lines here. Berkeley Agyapong tries to shed the presence of Mitchell Rose, back to Fowler on the right hand side, puts Enzio on the seat of his pants. Neat little ball into the right hand side, it's with Chislett, crosses it towards the back post, goal! Aldershot the scorers at the back post. It was neat play from the Shots, but it was poor from Notts County, who really struggled to clear their lines. I think it might be Yannis Drace, the Frenchman, making his very first start for the football club. We'll get that confirmation now from the loudspeaker. Yep, they've awarded it to Drace as well. A header at the back stick. Notts a goal down here at Meadow Lane with 17 minutes on the clock, and John Thompson pretty much the makers of their own downfall there in their inability to clear the lines.
Yeah, it's the complete opposite start to the game that we wanted. 15 minutes in, Notts have been pretty poor in possession, giving the ball away too easy, and it was Aldershot. You could almost see that goal coming because they've had Notts penned in for a couple of minutes here. Enzio Baldwin went down too easily. The boys just skipped by and put in a great ball to the back stick where Yannis is a free header, and it's a goal. You say Aldershot don't score a lot of goals, but it's almost been gifted to them there. It's not like they've really broken Notts down. It's pretty basic football in front of them, and it's a complete opposite start to what Notts want. It's plenty of time obviously to come back into it, but it's been a poor start so far. Not what we were expecting from a team that's fresh legs out there, because they look a little bit tired and leggy already, and just giving the ball away too easy. A couple of opportunities where they could have cleared it and just failed. They brought that on themselves a little bit there.
It'll be interesting to see how the Magpies respond. 18 minutes on the clock, 1-0 to Aldershot. Quick response needed, although, as John Thompson says, got plenty of time as Roberts goes down in the far corner away to our right hand side, wanting a free kick, and if he didn't get a free kick he certainly wanted a corner. He'll get neither, so he gives the linesman on the far side a bit of a flea in his ear, and it'll be a goal kick for Aldershot. And the keeper's already taken his time.
Yeah, this could be a long night. Yeah, I think it's the perfect game plan for Aldershot. They've came here, they've put one up front. They've managed to get themselves in front in this game, and they're going to be very hard to break down here because they'll even be less attacking from here on in. They'll take as long as they can with everything. And it's going to be a difficult, frustrating night, I think, for Notts ahead. Let's hope they can get those quality players that they have on the pitch, on the ball, and start asking a few questions of Aldershot. Well,
there's more trouble here that they're creating as Jim O'Brien tries to play it back to Lacey, left it a bit short, and
just a bit of an edgy feel, isn't there, about Notts at the back?
That's what we were talking about before the game. If things didn't click and click quickly, all of a sudden it would start to feel edgy. And you say at the back, you're absolutely right, it does feel edgy. The likes of Conor Rawlinson, who's been an absolute ever-present this season, not there this evening, and perhaps they're missing that presence. He's such a communicator back there, and I think the other defenders look to him for a bit of leadership. That's not to say that it's a particularly young defence. Yes, Adam Long is young, and Dion Kelly-Evans is 23, but Alex Lacey's 26. Damien McCrory's 30 years old, and McCrory's more than capable of being a leader in his own right. That's a poor ball forward from the centre circle from O'Brien, although he says to Dennis that you should have come short and made a better effort to try and get on the end of that. But again, a case of two Notts players getting the wires crossed, and we've seen that this evening. And I almost feel like, and could be, the benefit of hindsight and being a bit of an after-timer here, but when you make as many changes as you do, that's almost inevitable, isn't it, Tomo, that you're going to get players that are on different wavelengths.
You are, yeah. It's just, you get used to playing with each other week in, week out, and the team in an ideal world doesn't change if you're winning games each week, but it's a case that the manager's made this decision to make those changes. It's a brave decision, but you just look at some of the players who came out of the team today, and you mentioned Rowlinson there, but for me in the middle, Michael Doyle has been completely missed out there, because when the back four are getting the ball here, he's the man who always takes it off them and starts every attack in that sort of almost quarterback role in front of the back four. And Mitch Rose and Jim O'Brien are just not doing that at the moment. They're giving the ball away far too cheaply, and it's not giving Notts any momentum to try and start any attacks from their defence. So, that's for me has been a big miss so far. Michael Doyle out there today, but we might see him at some point, I'm sure. It's still early in the game.
We've only played 21 minutes here at Meadow Lane, but Aldershot, 17th in the National League, only 5 clear of the relegation zone. As I mentioned, don't score a huge amount of goals. 6th worst away form in all of the National League as well. Are a goal up here, as I say, with a little over 20 minutes on the clock. A spooky evening perhaps at Meadow Lane, with Friday the 13th around the corner and with a full moon peeking out eerily over the top of the Hayden Green family stand, like something out of a werewolf movie. And it's another Aldershot throw-in, and the Magpies, if anybody was hoping that they would immediately jump on the front foot having gone a goal down, well, they will be sorely disappointed, because it's Aldershot that look the more likely to go and score again rather than Notts finding an equaliser here. Conor Rawlinson, Michael Doyle and Tom Crawford have just come in from warming up. I saw Neil Ardley, as they came into warm-up, he kind of glanced at his wristwatch. I might be putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5, but I wonder if he's looking at his watch going, how early can I make a substitution? Who knows? Ball into that Notts penalty area again, headed away by Long, out to Finney. Finney plays it to Berkeley Agupong, tries to spin off Dion Kelly-Evans but can't do so, and instead it's out now towards the left hand side with Drace. Ball into the penalty area, comes back now towards Chislett. Real danger here as he gets towards the byline and then pokes the ball high in the air towards Panayatu, who then nods it down to his teammate, and Notts look to clear it away, and Enzio Baldwin manages to win his side of throwing, albeit right next to the corner flag.
The worrying thing is the panic in the Notts defence. Chislett is absolutely just walking through the back four there, in the box. Dangerous tackles flying in at him. Could easily have been a penalty if that tackle is mistimed. But it's all Aldershot. They're completely pinning Notts in here. Notts can't get out. And if anyone's going to get a second goal, it's going to be them at the moment. But Notts just look complete panic at the back four at the moment. They just look like they've never played with each other before, which is probably the case. And this is sometimes the problem when you do have players who haven't played a lot of games together.
Just a correction to the Aldershot scorer. It was Craig Tanner that got the goal for the Shots with that header at the back stick. One ball up over the top, and Wotton will try to chase that one.
There's just no quality gone to the strike force at all, is there?
Looks very disjointed. Incredibly disjointed. I mean, Kyle Wotton, Christian Dennis, largely unable to get into the game. Likewise, I mean, we were talking before the game saying that they don't have their fullbacks, Aldershot, because of injury. They've only got a left fullback, one of them, and only one right fullback as well. Neither are playing tonight because of injury, and you hoped that as a result of that you get Enzio into the game, you get Cal Roberts into the game, but both of them have been very, very quiet so far this evening. Part of that will come down to service, as Damien McCrory will take a throw-in for the Magpies, 15 to 20 yards or so up the touchline, away to our left-hand side from the corner flag. Gets it in towards Dennis, then to McCrory, to Enzio near the corner flag. He's going to try and win another throw-in. Does. Oh my goodness, the referee's given
terrible
the
decision.
Shocker of a decision from the referee. Never in a million. And the referee's given Aldershot a throw-in instead. Enzio's ran the ball up the touchline, and the referee, Mr. Mather, is hearing the boos, quite rightly so. Long throw-in, launched away. Long's read it and nodded it back in the other direction. Wes Thomas warming up, so Scott Wilson. Something's got to change, John Thompson, something.
Yeah, I think the manager, it is early in the game, but he will be already looking at possibly his bench. Thinking probably second half changes at this stage. I don't think he'd make one in the first half. unless things get a little bit worse. But it's just not had any really sustained pressure at all on that Aldershot defence. They're a mixed match of a defence there. They've got 4 central defenders playing there, but they've not been tested in any way. There's been no one-on-one situations where the wingers can run at the full-backs, and there's been not many crosses put into the box for those 2 strikers up front. So, they'll be frustrated. There's no quality really coming up to them from anywhere, from the back 4 or from the goalkeeper. So lots to improve on for Notts. It's been a very poor 20 minutes, opening 25 minutes of the game. They need to find a way back into it pretty sharp.
Here's Rose, goes back to the goalkeeper. McDonald will look to clear it away, digs it out with his right boot and plays it down the right touchline. Finney comes across, heads it out for a Notts throw-in just inside of their own half. There's something in getting such a good result at the weekend and then struggling the night after the Lord Mayor's show springs to mind, and I just wonder if Notts are suffering a little from that this evening.
Yeah, I think it's a pressure game as well, isn't it? Because you've got to back that great performance up with a game that everybody expects you to go out and win, and it doesn't often work like that. It's never going to be an easy time here on a Tuesday night against Aldershot. It's not a classic game. It's one of those games that you have to fight. Here we're in.
Yeah, Enzio down the right hand side, cutting into the penalty area. He crosses it along the edge of the 6-yard box, never lifts his head. Dennis wasn't there, Wootton wasn't there. They were 6 or 7 yards behind the play, and the chance is wasted as a result of that. He just needs to lift his head. He doesn't do, and so, as I say, well, here come Aldershot in the opposite direction. That's a poor ball though from Drace, who knocks it out for another Notts throw-in on the far side. Your thoughts on that one?
But it's just one of those nights where I was mentioning there, where you just have to fight and scrap for everything. But when you get that ball, you've got to show that you're a better side than them, and you have to have a bit more quality, a bit more composure on the ball. Find your men. There's been far too many passes that have gone astray out there, particularly in the midfield, and they're all areas for Notts to improve. But looks a little bit better here. We've had a couple of little attacks on the Aldershot defence here, but Enzio Baldwin found himself in a superb position there, and if he had have looked up and just seen that the 2 strikers weren't quite in the box yet and just waited a couple of seconds, would have been a great opportunity for Notts. Sometimes he's a bit hit or miss, Enzio, but when he is on form, hopefully he will find that form in this game. He's a real handful.
Certainly can be on his night. Whether his night comes round often enough, that's
always the big debate. I think if it did do, he wouldn't find himself playing at this level, Charlie.
Absolutely. Here's Tanner down the right hand side, tries to draw a free kick off of the Dutchman, the man we were just talking about.
This is his opportunity now.
Yeah, now he's got the ball. Running down the left-hand side, that's a really good pass. Wootton's onside, keeper's out of his goal mouth. He chips him, he floats it, and it's going to go agonisingly wide. Wootton going for the Hollywood finish on a night at Meadow Lane where it just needs a National League. Straight round the goalkeeper, firm side-footed pass into the back of the net, and Wootton has wasted an opportunity there to score his 17th of the season. Glorious
chance, and it was Enzio Baldwin, who we mentioned, who played the great pass in to see Wootton through on goal, and he should have backed himself a little bit more. I think he's quicker than what he thinks he was there. The defenders were closing in on him. He found himself one-on-one, and he just tried to dink it over the keeper, but his contact with the ball just wasn't what it was meant to be. And although it did go wide by only maybe 2 yards, something like that, it wasn't a very confident finish in my book, and it should have been a goal. It should have been Notts back in it. But good to see, it's better play from them now. They're starting to get in behind that Aldershot defence, and that's exactly what they need to do. Turn this slow, immobile defence that they have.
It needs to be better. And perhaps it has been for a couple of minutes, as Dennis and Enzio Baldwin exchange passes. Here comes the Dutchman, bearing down on the penalty area, gives it to Carl Roberts into the 18-yard box, shot at the near post, draws a save out of the goalkeeper. First corner of the game to the Magpies.
Yeah, they're taking it to Aldershot now. Carl Roberts had a great opportunity there, and he hit it with his right foot rather than cutting back on his left, as we've seen him doing so much. But it's a good save from the keeper, and a corner now for Notts.
O'Brien's gone across to take it on the far side. Teleline, that looks like it's Carl Roberts, wants to take it quickly. Not a bad ball, ends up in the back of the net from Christian Dennis's flick. Wouldn't have happened if the referee hadn't blown his whistle already, and that's because Mitchell Rose is stood smack bang in the middle of the 6-yard box, and there's a little bit of pushing and shoving going on between him and one of the Aldershot players back there. So take two. Enzio's over on the far touchline, offering the short option. Berkeley Agyapong and James Rowe are nowhere near 10 yards, but they're going to go long again. That's not a bad ball, but the keeper is being again put under some pressure from Mitchell Rose. How often do you see that? Once the referee has already told you once, the chances are he's going to blow his whistle twice.
Yeah, he gave a free kick on the keeper there. Actually made a very good punch anyway. He did clear his lines, but it's one of those situations. Mitchell Rose he's having a bit of argy-bargy with the keeper, and once you touch them, you know what the ref's going to do. He's going to give a free kick, but the keeper actually did well and got a good punch on it. But the delivery was there. Cal Roberts, you can put in a good ball with that left foot. We need Notts to be attacking it.
The boos you can hear in the background are because the keeper is taking so much care in placing the ball on the edge of his 6-yard box before he now kicks it away for the goal kick. You can call it game management. Other expressions probably not suitable for the radio also spring to mind. As Rose plays it forwards again, it's a rather aimless ball forwards, although it nearly causes some mischief for the Aldershot defence and goalkeeper, who has to come a long way out to clear it. In the Champions League, the round of 16, Spurs are losing at Leipzig by 1-0. Atalanta are winning by 1-0 at Valencia. In the Championship, 1-1 between Burton, League 1, 1-1 between Burton and Bolton, and 1-0 to Fleetwood at Pompey. In League 2, it's 1-0 to Carlisle against Newport. And in the National League, goalless between Dagenham and Redbridge and Fylde. 1-0 here between Notts and Aldershot. The Shots in the lead after scoring after 17 minutes, a Craig Tanner header at the back post. And 1-0 to Barnet at Woking this evening. Notts still to go to Barnet between now and the end of the season. One of plenty of away games still to come for the Magpies. On Saturday they're here at the Lane again against Eastleigh. Match day with you from 1:30. Then off to Torquay on the 17th, a week tonight, and then Harrogate in the FA Trophy on the 21st, Stockport on the 24th, against Harrogate here at Meadow Lane on the 28th, and then at Barnet, as I was just mentioning them, on the 4th of April. Mitchell Rose gives it to Adam Long, edge of his own penalty area, takes a touch, goes back to his keeper with 32 minutes on the scoreboards at either end here at Meadow Lane this evening. Not the coldest of nights that we've had at the Lane, that is for sure. Bit of a breeze, just blowing the Black Notts County flag on top of the Jimmy Cyril stand, blowing it from largely left to right as Long comes forwards, clears Panayatu out and knocks it 50 yards in the process. That is kind of centre-half's dream, isn't it?
Yeah, it got me excited, that tackle, Adam Long, I must admit. He really came through the front man. They're playing a one lone striker, Panayatu, and if you get that opportunity for a 50-50 where you can clear the ball as well, you try and take the man, and Adam Long did that absolutely great there. Great challenge.
You rarely get the opportunity in this day and age, even at the National League, to go blood and thunder into many tackles, win the ball and hit the man, and the referee is okay with it. Often you'll see, even if they do win the ball, the referee will blow for a foul nowadays, but not this time. Meanwhile, Notts have just got a free kick themselves, 10 yards inside their own half. It'd be very important, you get the sense, if they can get a goal back before half-time. What you don't want is Aldershot going in at the break, 1-0 up, and, you know, getting an opportunity to set the stall out for the second half. Yeah,
they have something to cling on to at the moment. Aldershot already, Notts have came back into it. The last 10 minutes they've been a little bit better. They've been better in possession, made some better decisions, moved the ball that little bit quicker. And you see that they can cause trouble to this Aldershot team, and it's going to be tough to get back into it, but you always get that feeling with the players that Notts have. If they get one goal, they can easily get 2 or 3 goals in this game, but they just got to get that goal. To get it before half-time, absolutely perfect, but there's still plenty of time in this game, and I think the manager will look to make some changes probably in the second half.
Maybe at half-time if it stays 1-0. As McCrory picks it up, gives it to Enzio, space to run into down this left-hand side. This is where perhaps the Magpies can find some joy this evening. The Dutchman still has it. In the end, 4 red and blue shirts surround him, so he has to go back down the line, and then they play it forward with the outside boot of Jim O'Brien. Now Mitch Rose makes an interception in the middle of the midfield, but they still manage to get away. That's neat from Aldershot. It's with Berkeley Agyapong through the middle of the park, turns it out onto the left-hand side. Good play. It's with Chislett approaching the edge of the penalty area, gives it back to Berkeley Agyapong, fires a shot goalwards straight into the gloves of the goalkeeper Joe McDonnell, who kept a clean sheet at the weekend, his second in a Notts shirt, the only other one coming against Aveley here in the FA Trophy. That one a 5-0 win for the Magpies as McDonnell bowls the ball out to himself. Just over 10 minutes to go until the break. Wotton is the recipient of the long ball forward. Good pass, good control, gives it to Enzio, who switches it to Cal Roberts on the right hand side, inside right channel, onto his left foot, shot!
Yes!
Get in! 1-1, brilliant. Cal Roberts, his second goal in 2 appearances for Notts County. Really, really good from the man from the northeast. Raised at one club called the Magpies, making a name for himself at another club called the Magpies. And with 10 minutes remaining here before the break, the Magpies have a very, very important goal back through Cal Roberts. 35 on the clock. Notts 1, Aldershot 1.
And that's exactly what we were talking about earlier on, because we talked about that. Football is simple sometimes. The goalkeeper has the ball, plays a very easy pass, finds the right man, Wootton, who outmuscles the centre half, lays it off, and the ball goes out to Cal Roberts. And it's all came from that striker taking his touch and getting other players, bringing other players into play. It's a great finish by Cal Roberts, and much better from Notts. But you know, it's not rocket science. It's one ball that's pumped down the middle of the field, and it gets Notts in behind all the shot, and much better. That gets them back in the game. Perfect time to score.
Certainly is. With around 9 minutes to go now before half-time, that'll change any planned half-time team talks from either manager. Danny Searle is in charge at Aldershot. He was at Braintree. In fact, he relegated under Searle last season were Braintree. He came to Aldershot in the summer. A reminder, Aldershot would have been relegated last season if it weren't for Gateshead's financial issues, let's call them, as Chislett picks it up and gives it to Berkeley Agupong. And those two have shown that they've got a decent understanding out towards that left-hand side, as the wheelbarrow song is now being sung by the Copperway to my left-hand side. An extra goal, I think, would probably get a few more supporters chanting that one as well, as Drace is going to fire from range. He's hit it from around 35 yards out, and it's gone about 40 yards wide. So not one of the Frenchman's finest, as the ball boy scampers across and quickly retrieves it so that Notts can get the ball back in play as soon as they possibly can. McDonald goes short and square out to the right hand side to Alex Lacey, who plays a long one forwards up to Kyle Wootton. Have to say that although Wootton has got the size advantage over Cody Lyons Foster, the former Braintree and Whitehawk centre half has very much, for most of the first half, had the beating of Wootton in the air. Got a good leap on him, because he's not the biggest of the 4 centre-halves that Aldershot are being forced to play across the back 4 today, but he certainly looks to be good in the air, and perhaps that's why he's picking up Wootton as much as he is doing. And interestingly, it may be coincidence here and just timing, but Wootton has gone across to stand on the other centre-half at the moment, which is Jean-Yves Koueniate. Got some names between them, those two centre-halves. Here's another one with a long surname, Berkeley Agupong, out to the left-hand side to Chislett. Tanner's in space on the edge of the penalty area. Someone's got to pick him up. Still with Chislett as he tries to spin away from a couple of Notts players back there. One of them O'Brien, the other one Kelly Evans. Rose is over there too. O'Brien's done just enough as he then goes in to make a tackle. The ball was gone, so he tries to pull out at the last moment and just about does so. It's now with Tanner. And they've got a bit of an overload, loads of Aldershot players over on that left-hand side for the moment. Trying to squeeze it through the middle now. Rose is back there, gives it to Roberts, back to O'Brien, turns it out onto the right-hand side for Kelly Evans, and he knocks it clear long down the right-hand side. Wootton goes across, tries to control it, doesn't manage to do so on the first bounce. Does so by the 3rd or 4th though, and then wins a throw-in. I said a few minutes ago, be a good time to score. Be an even better time to score now again.
It will be, yeah. Second goal would be perfect for the first half ending, but you know, Kyle Wootton, I think he's came into the game more and more. You said he's getting beaten a bit aerially, and he has been, but he's also the one who laid it off for the goal, you know. So I think he is that target man that I think Notts need in this division.
Roberts with the ball into the penalty area, really good cross.
And anything that's really good has came through him, I think, Charlie. I think you need that sort of focal point up there, and he's battling well at the moment. He's came into the game, and I think Notts have came into the game really after a very good start from Aldershot when they scored and got that goal up. It would have been difficult the longer and longer that had gone on, staying at 1-0. So they've done well to get back into the game. They've showed a bit of character there, and they've upped their tempo, got their passing a little bit slicker, but still not back to where we would like them to be.
Such a lovely goal that he scored on Saturday at Barrow. You'd think he's brimming with confidence, and a confident forward player is often a dangerous one, as O'Brien and Kelly Evans go for the same ball, and now the right fullback's well out of position. It's with Drace out to the left-hand side for Aldershot, cutting into the area. Another shot, another one that he's put a long way wide. never troubling the Joe McDonnell goal, and it'll be a goal kick instead. Yeah, the more they can get Roberts involved, the better. That was a lovely flashing left-footed cross from the right wing. It was an in-swinger, and it swung in across the edge of the 6-yard box, and unfortunately no Notts player close enough to it as Wootton goes down, wants a free kick and gets one. You just get the sense that the tide has turned a little bit in the last 10 minutes or so, and it's turned in the favour of the Magpies.
Yeah, and I think it would have been easy to get a bit frustrated, the crowd to get on your back a little bit at 1-0, but the Meadow Lane, the fans have been brilliant here tonight. They've got behind the team, and you can see that the team are just growing now in confidence. Every little touch is that little bit easier. It's not as edgy. The back four were very edgy in that first 20-25 minutes, and everything's just that little bit slicker now, a bit quicker. The second goal before half-time would be perfect.
Absolutely. Enzio stands over the ball, 12 yards or so inside the Aldershot half. With his right foot, he strokes the ball forward up to the Aldershot penalty area, and the referee's seen something again. It's funny, some referees I look at and think, you know, they're quite happy to go unnoticed, and others, I wonder whether or not they do think they need to make their presence known. And I'm starting to wonder whether or not Mr. Mather is one of those who likes to let people know that he's here, he's in charge. Perhaps he doesn't get to have his say at home, and so he twice a week or so dresses himself in black, he gets his whistle and he says, I'll show you, make up for the other 5 or 6 days. And maybe that's what this evening is in the early stages. Maybe I'm, wax lyricaling and going too far into it. Mitchell Rose goes down, wants a free kick, gets a free kick. And again, I think he's probably gone down a little bit too easily there, to be fair. And referees often give those sort of decisions, but it had been, in fairness, at least 26, 27 seconds since the last time he'd blown his whistle, so he was about due to do it again. Free kick Notts, edge of their penalty area, and with around 42 minutes on the clock here at Meadow Lane. It's 1-1. Long clearance forward, up towards Wootton. Good little flick on. Dennis is up there as well, unable to get on the end of it. Now O'Brien wins a header. Miscommunication between a couple of the Aldershot players back there, and Carl Roberts sticks his boot in. Bit of a sore one for Alex Finney, former QPR and Bolton man. Another man who's fallen through the leagues pretty rapidly. Been at Leyton Orient as well. This is his 22nd appearance of the season. He's only 23 years old. And he'll hobble over to the far touchline and take a throw-in. Deep in his own territory, launches it up towards the halfway line. Dion Kelly-Evans shows that impressive timing and leap that he's got as well, and Notts have now got a throw in midway through the Aldershot half. 2.5 minutes remain in this first half, plus a little bit of stoppage time. There was the clash of heads earlier on between Tanner and McCrory. Deary me, referee.
It's very stop-start, isn't it? It's not a classic game to commentate on tonight, Charlie.
No, we're doing
our
best,
but it's just been stop-start the whole way through. The ref has probably caused that a little bit.
Deary me, and now the referee has given a goal kick when Dion Kelly-Evans has quite clearly just won a corner. A bit of a rash-looking tackle as well, but the ball was won. He got a lot of the man as well, and that's fine if you're going to keep allowing those at both ends, but that was clearly a corner. The referee's not given it. He's given a goal kick. That just moments after he's pulled Dion Kelly-Evans back from taking a throw-in 2 yards further forward than where it should have been, when really I think Kelly-Evans was taking the throw-in from where he should have done in the first place. And the Notts fans are starting to chant the referee doesn't know what he's doing. To be honest with you, I'm not exactly filled with confidence that he does in this first half, as Enzio comes across, flies into a tackle with George Fowler, and that'll be an Aldershot throw on the near touchline in front of the Aldershot dugout, where the manager, Manny Searle, stands. 2-0 now to Leipzig against Spurs. Not a good night for Josie in the Champions League. We approach the final minute of this game. Keeper's well outside of his penalty area. Long ball forward. He lobs it clear up towards the halfway line. Drace gets on the end of it. Immediately tries to turn it up over the top. The Notts defenders wanting offside. Not going to get it. It's now out to the right-hand side to the goal scorer, Tanner. Fortunately, a poor touch from him sees the ball run out for a Notts throw. McCrory has a quick word in the linesman's shell just to say, you sure that wasn't offside? I think I've just caught a glimpse of the fourth official scoreboard on the near touchline, and I think it read 2 minutes that will be added on, with 30 seconds away from finding out for sure. Oof, that's a rash looking challenge from Jim O'Brien. Referee again, let's play continue. It was from behind on Berkeley Agupong, and In fairness to the Aldershot man, he was okay with it. And now Notts do have a free kick about 10 yards in front of their own penalty area. Taken very quickly and shifted out to the right-hand side. That's good from Notts County. Can they get away? Can they make some ground down there? They are doing with Dion Kelly-Evans. He's got, I think, Christian Dennis on that far side. Jim O'Brien over there as well. It is the Scotsman on the ball. That's a good cross into the area. Falls to Dennis. Shot is well blocked by the Aldershot defenders, throwing their bodies on the line. Otherwise, you'd really back Dennis from that position to make it 2 to Notts County. As it is, still Notts 1, Aldershot 1. 2 minutes added on.
It was a fantastic tackle from the Aldershot defender. I'm not sure which one it was, but Christian Dennis was definitely going to score. About 3 or 4 yards out from goal on his left foot. It was only going to go in the back of the net. So a great last-ditch tackle there from the Aldershot defender. But Notts have looked good now. Last 10-15 minutes really came into this game. They're starting to exert that bit of pressure on them. And getting some good balls in the box. When you've got 2 players, you have to put those balls in the box with good quality, and they're starting to do it.
Roberts almost away down the right-hand side in the end. His touch just takes him back into the path of Alex Finney, the left fullback. But this is lovely play down the right side, inside channel. Roberts tries to this time cut it back when maybe the ball was to flash it across the 6-yard box, and Aldershot clear it.
Really starting to get in the game, Roberts, isn't he?
Yeah, Notts don't want the half to end at this point. As it is, we've played nearly a minute of the 2 that have been added on. Damien McCrory now has it on the left-hand side. They're pulling Aldershot all over the place and creating space, and it's nice, neat, one-touch football between the lines, around the corners at times. Now with Lacey stepping into the shots half. Down the right goes Dion Kelly-Evans, playing it to Jim O'Brien. Never going to win the race, and the Scotsman turns around and gives Kelly-Evans a flea in his ear and says the ball was rubbish. I'm sure that's what he said. And it's a goal kick. There's less than a minute remaining at the end of the first half. The trick in the second half for Notts County is to make sure they pick up where they left off in this first half, surely, rather than slipping back into how they started the game.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of joy down the right-hand side. Cal Roberts has been outstanding the last 10-15 minutes. He's really getting on the ball and taking on players and putting balls in the box. Scored a good goal as well, so he's been the shining light out there in the first half, but not to finish in the first half. Very strong here.
That is half-time. The referee blows his whistle. Well, we are back underway, and Notts fire the ball out towards Kyle Wootton on the right-hand side. Early stages of this second half. No changes for Aldershot either. Mitchell Rose with a header, nodding it forwards. It's with Cal Roberts on the right-hand side. He's immediately got 2 players around him. He dances between them. Now another 3 goes down. One of the free kick doesn't get it. The referee's right in my mind for not giving him one, as Damien McCrory now loses possession after a bit of a loose pass out in his direction. Panayatu now bearing down on the Notts defenders on the right-hand side. He's got an overlap as well, and that's a good ball into the penalty area. Aldershot with an opportunity to make it 2. My goodness, they should have done. It is an absolute sitter from Ethan Chislett, who had a glorious opportunity to make it 2-1 to Aldershot. It is fast end-to-end stuff. Lovely play at one end from Cal Roberts. Notts immediately hit on the counter-attack at the other end, and really Aldershot should be in front again.
Excellent counter-attack from Aldershot there. They really ripped Notts apart in the space of 10-15 seconds. They were up the other end of the field, and Chisley is their top scorer. I think you'd expect them to score all day long there, 6 yards out, and it's just hit the other side of the post. So Notts got away with that one. Definitely that was a really best opportunity of the game so far, and they've got away with that, but they've got to up their game, because it just takes that one moment of lapse of concentration and you can see what they can do. They don't score a lot of goals, Aldershot, but they're still creating a few chances here against Notts.
Pacey start to the second half here at Meadow Lane. The shots are in possession again, trying to work the ball to Panayatu. Enzio is there, has it on the left-hand side for Notts. Lovely play from Roberts just a few moments ago, giving the Aldershot defenders absolute nightmares as he just danced with that low centre of gravity that he's got in between them, like he's got the ball on a string.
Very quick
as well.
feet, isn't he?
And he does. It's with Berkeley Agyapong on the left-hand side, back to Drace, infield now, and back to Drace once more on the left-hand side to Berkeley Agyapong. They're just working the ball in triangles as they try to make their way forward. Here's the man who just missed that brilliant opportunity a few moments ago. Chislett gives it to Agyapong once more on the left-hand side. He's got the option there of Finney, but he's going on his own for the time being. Now back to Finney, left-footed cross, deep towards the back post. McCrory looks to head it away, going to fall to Chislett again, tries to volley it goalwards, couldn't quite wrap his body around it, and so his volley goes wide. But 2.5 minutes have been played in this second half, and more things to make Neil Ardley a touch frustrated and possibly think that Michael Doyle might be coming on. As I say that, Doyle is dispatched to go and warm up with energy, and he's going to send Thomas and Rawlinson out there to warm up as well. So perhaps Neil Ardley, Neil Cox, thinking that they're not going to wait too long in this second half before they make changes. And perhaps those players like Doyle won't get as long of a break as what they were hoping for in this one, won't get the rest that perhaps Ardley wanted for them. Just to reiterate the players that are on the pitch at the moment for Notts: Joe McDonnell in goal, Dion Kelly-Evans at right back, McCrory left back, Lacey and Long in the middle of defence. Across the midfield, it's Roberts, O'Brien, Rose and Baldwin, and up top Dennis and Wootton. Here's Baldwin, got the ball, weaves forward, by the help of deflection finds Wootton, and then Wootton tried to slide it through the middle of a group of Aldershot defenders to Roberts. Would have seen him through one-on-one with the goalkeeper, just couldn't quite pick him out. And now Panayatu has it. Again, here goes the overlap down the right-hand side. It's with Fowler for a centre-half. He's shifting pretty well down that right touchline. Couple of step-overs as well. Cuts in field to Drace. A shot well up over the top. That's the closest he's come so far this evening, and that was still about 4 yards over the top of Joe McDonnell's goal. And just keeping a close eye on the players who are warming up. Thomas is warming up with real gusto. The type of warm-up that you do if you're coming on, not...
Yeah, they'll definitely be sent out. Neil Ardley will be starting to look at making a couple of changes in this second half, because this game is a game that Notts won't want to draw. This is a game that's here for the taking. This has got to be a 3-pointer. They've got to go and try and win this game, and he'll be looking to make changes.
Meanwhile, the attendance here at Meadow Lane this evening on what is a little bit of a breezy but ultimately mild night now. 4,287, 181 have come from Aldershot, which is a good showing. Many of them gathered right at the back of that Jimmy Cyril stand, more than what I thought they possibly would. Meanwhile, Magpies have got a corner. They're second of the game. Aldershot yet to experience such excitement, and we've played 5 minutes in this second half. The warm-ups continue down our left-hand side, and the corner kick to be taken from the far touchline by Enzio Baldwin, but I think he's going to go short to O'Brien. They'll change the angle. You'd think Enzio would take it in swinger. Instead, if he goes short, it'll be to O'Brien, who with his left foot will then knock an outswinger. In the end, no, he is going to go long into the penalty area towards the back post. Header from Lacey. I think it might have hit Finney. Yes, it has. And it's gone behind for another Magpies corner, this time from the opposite touchline. Last one was where the family stand and the Jimmy Cyril stand meet, and now it's where the family stand and the Derek Pavis meet. So away to our right-hand side on the near touchline. Again, Enzio coming across and offering the shorter corner, but they're sending 2 Aldershot players out to cover it, so they'll go long, and O'Brien will hit the left-footed. It's a quick corner into the penalty area. It was a good ball. Kyle Wootton met it, edge of the 6-yard box. Perhaps when he did meet it, he was just coming back down to earth again from his jump, so maybe mistimed the jump a little bit, and his header's gone a long way wide. Yeah,
Cal Roberts actually on the corner there. He can really whip it in with that left foot, and good opportunity again. That's 2 corners in a row, and they're just starting to get back into this second half as well. They were hit with that counter-attack earlier on in the start of the second half, but other than that, it's been pretty good. They've started as they finished that first half, creating chances. And you just get that feeling that there will be opportunities for Notts here. You get the feeling that there will be chances in this second half, and they just got to take them.
Dennis on the left-hand side, hardly been in the game really this evening. Dennis, he had that one opportunity where he was right place, right time, which he tends to do. That is his skill as a striker. Fox in the box, really well blocked by the Aldershot defence. Otherwise, Notts would have been 2-1 up. As Lyons Forster goes for a bit of a ride on the back of Kyle Wootton, wins the header though, goes out for a throw on the far side midway through the Aldershot half. 52 minutes on the clock. McCrory comes across and will take. Showing short is Dennis. Comes back to him, plays a 1-2. Left-footed cross into the area, straight into the gloves of the goalkeeper at the near post. Wootton was in there, so was Cal Roberts and Jim O'Brien. They go long with the clearance, and it's really well plucked out of the sky by Alex Lacey. Shows brilliant control, runs 15 yards with it, and then plays the square ball out for an Aldershot.
He did all the hard work.
That's the National League in a nutshell, I think.
Yeah, it was a great touch. He's taking it out of the air as a centre-half. It was a great touch.
Long ball over the top.
And then he's got a 2-yard pass to make, and he kicks it out of play. So
never mind. Goal
I feel from he's in the centre-half club with me. It does happen every now and then.
Yes, well in that union, I'm sure, this evening. Ball forward from McDonnell up towards Wootton. Flicks it on. Dennis tries to get there. Does do. That's good from the number 9. Lays it back down the left-hand side to McCrory. He does likewise. Comes all the way back towards Long. Square to Lacey. Dion Kelly-Evans will now receive the ball on the right-hand side. He's got Berkeley Agupong straight on top of him. So he's forced back to the goalkeeper. And these are the moments where I think you miss Michael Doyle. So not so, on a few occasions this evening, they're going from left to right along the defensive lines, and now play it over the top, and Wootton flicks it forwards. And it's the defenders that are involved, and ultimately they end up going back to the goalkeeper. When Doyle's on the ball, they don't have to involve the goalkeeper. They don't have to involve as many defenders. Instead, the ball goes straight into midfield. And yes, sometimes it comes back to a defender, but often the ball will then go forwards, or at least square, and they can try to get something moving forwards a little bit quicker than what they are doing tonight. And so that's why I glanced down to my left-hand side again to see that Doyle, Rawlinson and Thomas are still warming up, albeit at the moment they're just stretching. Here's Enzio, takes it away from one man, make it 2, tries to play it down the right-hand side to Jim O'Brien. He'll get there, albeit quite wide and near the byline. First-time cross smacks off at the head of Lyons Foster, and behind for another corner kick. What have you made of the first 9 minutes of the second half?
It was great energy there from Jim O'Brien. It shows you he still has that enthusiasm to break forward, and Enzio, seeing him make that run, and he's got himself in behind the defence. He's won a corner here for Notts, but Notts have been okay. They've settled into the second half. It's been a better start than it was in the first half for them. They don't look quite as edgy, but I do think they still need that little bit of quality.
Another good ball into the penalty area, and
he does deliver a good ball, Carl Roberts, from that right-hand side.
Yeah, he certainly does.
Corner kick.
Shouts towards the referee for a penalty as Alex Lacey was being wrestled to the ground by one of the Aldershot defenders. You rarely get them. Starting to see them more in the Premier League thanks to VAR, but rarely do you get those where a centre-half will be trying to swap shirts, perhaps prematurely. And Lacey, I mean, as you say, another really good ball from Roberts, as they were from that right-hand side from corners in the second half at Barrow on Saturday.
It's the pace he whips them in at. They're very difficult to defend.
Really fizzes them in. I guess as a defender defending dead ball situations like a corner, you want more one of those corners that's hung up there, something for you to go ahead. Definitely,
and that's why you can see that they're out muscling. You got Lacey coming up and long, 2 big centre halves, but they're struggling to win those duels at the moment because the force or the centre halves that Aldershot have at those set pieces coming in very handy for them. But you do get the feeling that the delivery is still like that. They will get an opportunity, it will come. Notts looking strong now, they're coming back into it again this second half.
Aldershot not without their threats though, really. They should be 2-1 ahead after a brilliant opportunity that was wasted by Ethan Chislett just a couple of minutes into the second half. Missing from around 7 or 8 yards. He had most of the goal to aim at. That's neat from Lacey down the right-hand side. O'Brien off to the races again, tries to get on the end of it. Put out for a throw-in by Finney. O'Brien wants to get the ball back in play quickly. Robert shows, gets it into his feet. 3 men around him, back to O'Brien, now to Dion Kelly-Evans. Further up the touchline and back to the halfway line once more, where Lacey will play a right-footed cross up to the edge of the penalty area. Low stooping header away there by Lyons Foster. Enzio Baldwin working hard, trying to win it back for Notts. That's a lovely play down the right-hand side. Nearly was anyway. Now Rose flies into a tackle that he wins. The lovely play would have been by the Aldershot winger on the far side, who nipped it one side of McCrory and ran the other. He nearly got on the end of it. I thought he was going to, but good covering play from McCrory's teammates. See the Magpies back in possession, and a pattern starting to establish.
Yeah, that's what Mitch Rose does very well in the midfield. It's those challenges when he breaks up play very, very well. But you can see here now, and as the Notts back 4 of the ball, Mitch Rose is the man who's looking to get it, but he's never got that bit of space that Michael Doyle can find.
Yeah, poor ball from Cal Roberts, squared it along the halfway line straight to an Aldershot player. Berkeley Agyapong the target, but Lacey's come forward, read it really well, and won it back for the Magpies. Another ball forward up in the direction of Kyle Wootton. That will come out on this near side for Finney to retrieve. Bald-headed player plays it down the left-hand side, cut out by Lacey for another throw-in for Aldershot. As I say, they have their threats, they show their virtues. No, they don't score a huge amount of goals. We're talking to one of our colleagues from BBC Surrey in the media room at half-time, and he was sort of like, well, we'll do well to score again in the second half, but I think even he might have been playing their chances down, given how, particularly on the counter-attack, particularly as Notts are committing more and more men forwards in search of a second goal. There are spaces opening up, and they do have pace. Berkeley Agyapong, Paniatu, both players with space. Here's Drace, edge of the penalty area. Switches it across to the right-hand side. Going to try from range. Oh, it's a brilliant save from the goalkeeper, who's tipped it up onto the top of the crossbar. Craig Tanner, the man who from 25 yards with his left foot fired a rocket goalwards, and it's a brilliant stop from Joe McDonnell.
Notts have got away with it again. What a strike from Tanner. You're almost happy for him to shoot from that distance, but he's got such a clean connection on it. Looks like he's got in the top corner, but just hit off that crossbar. Keeper was beaten.
Here's danger, though, for Notts County with Kyle Wootton, edge of the area. A shot! Oh, it's hit the crossbar. It's come down, and it's not crossed the line. The Magpies have it. Both crossbars quivering. It's with Jim O'Brien. Now to Cal Roberts. He plays a 1-2. He gets it back to Dion Kelly-Evans on the right-hand side. Ball into the area. Cleared away by Kuiniate. And Notts County have it back near the halfway line with Alex Lacey. Back to the goalkeeper. Take a breath. 59 gone.
This game's really opening up now. I've never seen it before where two crossbars are hit in such quick succession. He's in again.
Now
here.
Here's Dennis, lobs the keeper, and the Magpies have a second. The flag stays down, and Christian Dennis shows exactly his virtue, his worth. He sticks his arms out wide, almost like Cantona. He then punches the sky towards the Kop, towards the family stand.
What a
Notts
finish.
County are in the lead. It may have taken 59 minutes, but it's a brilliant finish. And here come the cavalry in the shape of Connell Rawlinson. Notts 2, Aldershot 1. Brilliant lobbed finish from Christian Dennis.
What a crazy couple of minutes in this game of football. It went from one end to the other. First it was Aldershot hitting the crossbar, then Notts, and then Notts found themselves in again, and an unbelievable finish from Dennis, who had a lot to do there, it has to be said, and that skill and composure that he had to lob it over the keeper.
From an angle.
From an angle as well, with that left foot of his, and what a finish. And that's why he's there. He is that sort of a poacher. He's a very good finisher. If you give him a chance, he generally takes it. But a crazy couple of minutes of football there, but sees Notts in front, and deservedly so. They've grown in this game all along after a terrible start, and you can see that bit of quality coming through now. You've got to go and get that third.
Substitution made. Connell Rawlinson comes straight into the middle of that defence at the expense of Adam Long, who's not done anything wrong, but no. Connell Rawlinson is very much...
He's the first choice centre-half, isn't he?
Absolutely, the rock at the heart of that Notts defence, and so a pretty much first choice defence restored now. You could have an argument over that right fullback position, certainly, with Richard Brindley and Dion Kelly-Evans, but Lacey, Long, McCrory pretty much picked themselves at this stage of the season. Just over an hour gone. You're listening to Match Night on BBC Radio Nottingham. It is a frenetic and open game here at Meadow Lane, where it's now Notts 2, Aldershot 1. The shots led through Craig Tanner in the first half. Notts equalised through Cal Roberts. 1-1 it was at the break. In this second half, Wootton's hit the crossbar. Tanner has smacked the crossbar thanks to a brilliant save from Joe McDonnell. Both of those coming within 30 seconds of each other. And then Notts lead thanks to Christian Dennis's lob from an angle. A good, because of the angle, 25 yards, kind of from the angle of the 18-yard box, the corner of the 18-yard box. It's a brilliant lob from Dennis over the top of the goalkeeper, and Notts are trying to get in behind the Aldershot defenders now, and are doing so at will at times. Wootton trying to keep the play alive. He's done brilliantly to do so. Go away,
never a foul.
Linesman's given Aldershot a free kick because Finney hit the deck and got the ball caught between his legs, and so as a result, free kick given, and goalkeeper nicks a couple of yards in a rather inconsequential area of the pitch. It doesn't really matter. He's 98 or 99 yards away from the Notts goal. It makes, as I say, little difference. But the ball will be placed near where the free kick was awarded and cleared long up into the night sky. Lacey comes for it, wins the header. Mitchell Rose looks around and says, where did he come from? Carl Roberts plucks the ball out of the sky, dances away from his man on the halfway line. He's got another one in front of him. He'll beat him too. He's then bundled to the ground. Baldwin has it, dead centre, near the edge of the penalty area. The ball will skew to McCrory. Now play out to the left-hand side for Dennis. Cross into the area! Oh, Wootton spurned a brilliant chance now. He punches the post and he missed that as well. Good job, he'd have had a sore hand. Another chance goes begging.
Glorious chance that is. 3 yards out from goal. He tried to get it on the half volley. It was a brilliant ball in from the left hand side, but he's got to score that all day long. He'd be gutted that he's hit that over the bar from there. And that would have been a chance to kill the game off for Notts. At 3-1, there's no way back for Aldershot. We have to say Notts have rode their luck at times in this second half, but when you get opportunities like that, you have to kill off a game, and Wootton will be disappointed he's missed that one.
Yes, he will. That should have been his 17th of the season. Had a couple of good opportunities tonight, and knowing the man that he is, player he is, he will be kicking himself if he doesn't get something out of this game as far as a goal goes. Here's Rawlinson on the ball for Notts, on a bit of pressure there, and as a result, he skews his clearance out for a throw-in on the far side. So Aldershot have had a brilliant chance that they've missed. Notts have had a brilliant chance that they've missed. Aldershot have hit the bar. Notts have hit the bar. Notts have scored. All of that just in the first, 15-18 minutes of this second half.
I've enjoyed the second half a lot more than the first, Charlie.
You and me both. Aldershot have got it on the far side. Going to get a throw in. Excuse me. Ball kisses off of the corner flag on the far side. That's how close it was for Aldershot having their first corner of the game. We played 64 minutes. It's 2-1 Notts. It's exciting stuff. And shows no sign really of letting up at the moment, as the Magpies will now have to defend a long throw into their penalty area. McCrory heads it away. Wootton will come short, try to get on the end of it, won't do so, and another long ball will come back towards the edge of that Magpies penalty area. Dion Kelly-Evans rises high, heads it out for a throw-in on the near side, and all of a sudden there's some urgency to Aldershot's play. There hasn't been any of that since, well, all night actually. It's the first time all night. They were content with the draw when it was 0-0, certainly content when it was 1-0 to Aldershot, and content when it was 1-1, but now there's a bit of urgency to them, which is of course creating space in behind, as Dion Kelly-Evans does really well to shepherd the ball behind. He's only 5'5", Kelly-Evans, and he might be angry, he might claim 5'6", but I make the point about the fact that he's small, but he's got a brilliant leap on him. He's strong, he's game, he battles for absolutely everything. And his ferocious, competitive nature is cut out very much in the mould of a Michael Doyle, who just glanced down to the near touchline. He's still warming up away to our left-hand side. You would think he's going to be introduced at some point in the second half. Yeah,
definitely, even just as a calm head out in that midfield, somebody who has that experience just to keep the ball now, make sure nothing silly happens out there. Obviously Notts will try and push for that third goal, but there might be a case of just seeing this game out a little bit at times as well, and Doyle is one of those who he sort of dictates the tempo of the team at times and at the right times, and I think he will be introduced pretty quickly.
Here come Notts again. Carl Roberts, first time shot straight into the midriff of the goalkeeper, who manages to jump on the ball at the second attempt. It's a lightning quick break from Notts, and Roberts takes no time to fire that shot goalwards, trying to catch the keeper out of position and off guard, and it's not a bad attempt. Smacked into the keeper's midriff, and he struggled to keep hold of it. Another good effort.
You can see why as a winger he scored so many goals, because he gets anywhere near out of the box and he's just shooting every time with a low, powerful strike, like his goal that he scored tonight. But you can see he's got that quality when he runs with the ball. You expect things to happen.
Clearance
Been
away.
Really impressed with him tonight.
Yeah, certainly he's looked excellent. Looked excellent when he came off the bench at Barrow as well. And it's a poor attempted clearance from Kueniate. And out for a throw-in on the right-hand side for the Magpies. Jim O'Brien trying to make a late break as a third man into the Aldershot penalty area. Dion Kelly-Evans has trotted forwards to take the throw. Takes it and gives it to Jim O'Brien. Lovely 1-2 back down the right-hand side. Good ball into the area. Yes!
What a goal.
Brilliant header from Christian Dennis. Wonderful cross from Dion Kelly-Evans. Give Jim O'Brien his credit as well. Notts County were a goal down. They're now 3-1 up. Tissues at the ready. Hold your noses. Notts are up to third in the National League. Notts County 3, Aldershot 1. 67 minutes on the clock.
And special credit to Kelly Evans there, who on the overlap from that right back position whipped in an unbelievable ball, and the header is just inch perfect as well. But for Notts now, superb start to this second half. They've gone 3-1 up now. You don't see Aldershot coming back into this game. You don't see that they have enough firepower to do so. But Notts have really upped their game since going a goal down, and it's some character out there, but also some really good quality, and some of the goals have been outstanding.
Certainly have, and they're just making a change now. Aldershot in response to going 3-1 down. Rhys Miller coming on. Craig Tanner, who I don't think the Notts County defenders will miss.
Yeah.
They will be glad to see him go. He was the
one who hit the crossbar with that strike, wasn't it? Yeah.
Thundered a shot goalwards, which was destined for the top corner until Joe McDonnell pulled off an absolute worldie of a save, tipping it onto the crossbar. In fact, the crossbar now, just checking on it, away to our left, has only just stopped shaking from that effort, and he also scored Aldershot's goal 17 minutes into this game. So he comes off. Interesting that he does, and you wonder from the manager's perspective, in this evening being Danny Searle, whether or not he's looking at this now going, do you know what, we might need to take a different tact and maybe save Tanner for another occasion, another race.
Yeah, they're in a relegation battle now, Aldershot. They might be thinking like that. At this stage, it's going to be difficult for them to get back into a game against Notts here. We don't really care about that at this stage. It's more about Notts.
Absolutely.
It's all about getting this 3 points and getting into that third spot in the division. Everyone's looking over their shoulders now at Notts, making a bit of a late surge.
Yeah.
And you can see the confidence in the squad, because even going a goal down today, it would have been easy to let those heads drop at home on a Tuesday, cold Tuesday evening. They've done really well.
They certainly have, turning it around in the second half, showing their qualities, making 7 changes as well. Yes, it was stop-start. Yes, it was disjointed in that first half, but you back Notts almost every time they come forward at the moment to get another goal. 3-1 it is. It was 1-1 at half-time. In this second half, Christian Dennis with a wonderful lob. A quite brilliant lob to make it 2-1, and then a quite brilliant header, and here goes the devastating Dutchman Enzio Baldwin, laying it back to Dennis, who shoots straight across the goal, stuck behind for a corner kick. It could have gone anywhere off of Alex Finney. He will thank his lucky stars that it's gone behind and into the family stand, and Notts of their 5th corner.
He just took a swipe at that, and it was a great strike by Dennis, and that could have ended absolutely anywhere, but it's gone for a Notts corner. They're piling the pressure on. They're stacking up these corners at this stage. There'll be another good delivery here, I'm sure, from the left-hand side, from the right-hand side. Carl Roberts.
Notts lining up 3 players just behind the penalty spot. Here comes the delivery in at the near post to Christian Dennis, who flashed to that near post, and he's flicked it wide. He was trying to just crane his neck muscles to try and turn it in at, as I say, the near post, but behind for a goal kick. And another change on the way. It's going to be Giuliano van Velzen, who Enzio Baldwin's mate. They were at Utrecht together, and Jacob Berkeley Agyapong, who has come off. So Van Velzen comes on, Dutchman, who offers a bit of height, tall and gangly, as O'Brien dangles a right foot at the ball and gives it straight to Aldershot. There's Chislett, he's looked handy. Now Rowe, experienced Football League campaigner. The Notts have it back once again with Baldwin. Steers the play out onto the left-hand side for Damien McCrory. Plays a 1-2 now. It's with Christian Dennis. Tackle from behind. Just about gets there, does Fowler. And Notts are back in possession once more anyway through Mitchell Rose or Damien McCrory. Back to Lacey. Van Velzen was also at Crawley, so he kind of treads a familiar path. He and Enzio this evening. As Lacey plays it long. Wootton coming back onside from an offside position. And I'm sure Neil Ardley, who's sat in his dugout at the moment, I can just see his head poking out over the top of it. He's sitting a bit more comfortably in the second half than he was for much of the first half, and for some of the second half as well in the early stages. How different this game could have been had Ethan Chislett tucked that golden opportunity away just 2 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, it would have been a totally different game, and I think when he would have been edgy, Neil Eardley, was that sort of first half where there was a 15-minute period where the Notts defence were all over the place, and I suppose you might be questioning some of your decisions, putting a back four that's been a bit of makeshift back four today. But they've grown into the game. They've done really well.
Here's Enzio again, now to Cal Roberts on the right-hand side. They had a 3-on-2 for a moment. Roberts tried to slide it in between the legs of Alex Finney. He gets the ball back, deflected out to him on the right-hand side. Now Kelly Evans to Enzio, approaching the byline, away to our right-hand side. He gets enough space for the cross, floats the ball into the penalty area. Jim O'Brien to Damien McCrory, being told to shoot. It's not really in the left full-back's wheelhouse, so he takes a touch, then another, and ultimately concedes possession as Van Velzen was forcing him away from the Aldershot penalty area. A bit of a waste, that. Who knows what might have been. That's good for Mitchell Rose. That's
what he's there for, exactly, yeah.
Battling,
that's what he does so well.
Dennis tries to slide it down the inside left channel for Kyle Wootton, who has his run blocked by Cody Lyons-Foster. And the Magpies with 73 minutes on the clock. Yellow card for Lyons-Foster, maybe a little bit harsh on the Aldershot defender, but referee's a lot closer to that than I, and maybe he saw a bit of cynicism in the blocking of that run. And yeah, with less than 20 minutes to go here now at Meadow Lane, Notts, just like they looked in the second half against Barrow when they went down to 10 men, they look bloodthirsty, they look like they want to run up the score, which is a lovely quality for a team to have, particularly at this stage of the season.
Yeah, you also look into fatigue levels as well. Those Aldershot players, they've not had that break. They've not been able to have that rotation where they're bringing players in and out, fresh legs. So all these things are standing to Notts as the season goes on. And they're finishing games strong.
Another corner kick. 6th of the game. Aldershot yet to have one. And Cal Roberts, who just took that free kick, he's got such a lovely whip on his dead balls. And will come across and take the corner kick. Although Enzio is loitering just to see if there's the short option. I think they'll go direct once again. They've lined up 3 Notts players on the penalty spot. Lee Curtis called it a love train on Saturday, and I thought, I'm nicking that. So, love train on the penalty spot. They'll all go their separate directions and look to set screens and use the Aldershot players as screens as well. As the ball comes in low along the ground, cleared away. Something off the training ground comes out to Dion Kelly Evans, who hits one, flicks off of the head of the Aldershot player. I can see that from here, referee.
The whole ground can see that.
The entire ground can see that.
Yeah, fair play to him.
His mind. Good done.
He's realised.
Yeah, well done, referee. Yeah. Under the pressure of 4,200 people.
I think when every Notts County player ran at him, I think he realised he'd made a mistake.
I think, in fairness, the linesman away to the right-hand side has said, you've got that one wrong. So I don't mind that. The referee has said, fair enough, I did get it wrong, and it will be a 7th corner kick for Notts County, and there will be 15 minutes to go. And my voice is just starting to tell a little bit of strain from getting a touch excited of late. It's much easier when there's now happening. The voice is starting to sound a little bit hoarse. It's going to be a corner kick on the far side, taken short and quickly. Too quick for Cal Roberts. He still manages to get his cross in. Oh, Connell Rawlinson with a header. Again, it's flicked off of an Aldershot player, and again the referee's given a goal kick. Never mind. I was critical enough of him in the first half. I'll try to hold back in the second half. Michael Doyle's going to come on for Notts just to settle things down at the end of this game and add that extra bit of experience.
Clever move. I think it was something we expected. Probably a little bit earlier. I would have maybe expected it in the second half.
Yeah.
But last 15 minutes, he's perfect just to keep that ball moving.
Yeah, it will.
They don't need to find another goal. Just keep that ball, keep possession, see out the game, take the 3 points.
And it's Roberts who's making way. Meadow Lane.
He deserves that round of applause. He's been
rises
outstanding.
As one, gives him a standing ovation. And on comes Doyle. He is Notts County's bit of devilment, is Roberts. An absolute firecracker. And every time he gets the ball, he's the sort of player that gets you on the edge of your seat. Quite literally, people edge to the edge of their seat. They start to take a breath. They hold their breath in expectation as what he could do. And on comes Michael Doyle, who receives a good ovation from the Kop in his own right away to our left-hand side. And it's an experience job. It's a game management job now for the Irishman.
It is, yeah. He's the one who wants on the ball. And I think it's just better for Mitch Rose now, who can push on and just do a little bit of his defensive side, just screening that back four. But Doyle is the one you want to keep that ball moving. Doesn't always have to go forwards now.
Throw-in taken to Enzio, going to shoot from range when Christian Dennis wanted the through ball. Jim O'Brien was forward as well. He wanted it. Frustrated he didn't get it. Notts now have it with Enzio. Back to goal. Back to Alex Lacey, level with the halfway line. Down the left-hand side he goes. Carries it 15 yards. Floats the ball forward. Not a good ball. Certainly not for his standards. As far as centre-halves go at this level, he's a decent one. Well, when it comes to his distribution, shows plenty of composure. So he'll be frustrated that wasn't quite his best as O'Brien comes across onto the near touchline. Might have used his hand to deflect it, and then Dion Kelly-Evans knocks it off of the backside of Rowe and out for a throw-in. Kelly-Evans can take his time over. Meanwhile, Searle, the manager for Aldershot, is preparing his third and final change. It's going to be Alfie Whittingham who comes on, and man who made his first start for the Shots this evening, Yanis Drace, who comes off to the near side. 6'5" is the Frenchman, big gangly lanky player who will now stoop low beneath the dugout here on the near side. Notts will keep the ball with the goalkeeper Joe McDonnell, who'll just waste a little bit of time as Rhys Miller comes across to just force him to pick it up and pick it up a little bit quicker. Whittingham's only 21 years old and has 2 goals to his name so far this season. McDonnell clears the ball long from his gloves with a big booming boot forward. Michael Doyle just nips the ball away from the Aldershot midfielder Whittingham. Now to Jim O'Brien, stabs it with the outside of his right boot. Out towards Enzio Baldwin, first time cross, edge of the 6-yard box, cleared away by Lyons Foster, who again, he's looked pretty good back there tonight. For a team that's conceded 3 goals, he's often been at the heart of the good stuff they've done defensively. Bit of a scrap for the ball on this right-hand side. Down goes Dion Kelly-Evans. Free kick every day of the week, even though he's looking for it, even though he's soft, even though I'm not sure it warrants a free kick. In this day and age, you just get them. They're almost certainly guaranteed. And he's clever, is Dion Kelly-Evans, as he goes down. And he wins Notts a free kick 2 or 3 yards in from the near touch line and not all that far away from the angle on the edge of the Aldershot penalty area. We've played 79 minutes. Notts lead by Aldershot by 3 goals to 1. And there's 11 minutes remaining. Michael Doyle over the ball, offering the left-footed in-swinger. Anything now is putting the icing on what is already a pretty sweet cake for Neil Ardley. His men and the Magpies fans that are here in attendance this evening. Here comes Doyle with the left-footed in-swinger. Goalkeeper's going to come for it, gives it a punch, doesn't get it all that far clear, nor does the secondary clearance, but the referee stopped the game because there's an Aldershot player down with what looks to be a head injury. Looks like it'll be Jean-Yves Kouiniate who is down just inside his penalty area, and Notts are looking just to ease their way now to 3 points and up into the top 3 of the National League. First time you've seen the Magpies for a bit, Tomo. What have you made of them tonight?
Yeah, I've been impressed. We always knew it was going to be a difficult game tonight. There's a lot of expectations on you, and you've had a couple of good results, and you're chasing that 3rd spot in the league, and you know things didn't get off to a good start for them tonight. They didn't start in the front foot. They looked a bit sloppy in possession the first half, but they've really grown into the game, and I think as a lot of the games that I've seen this season, you do get that feeling that when they go into that extra gear, not many teams in this division can live with them, and you could see that in the second half, particularly here. They just stepped it up a notch and passed that ball a little bit quicker, a bit more purpose and clinical in front of goal. Yes, they've rode their luck a little bit at times, but I think you have to do that in football, and they've been well worth the 3 points so far, so let's hope that they get it. Still 10 minutes to go, but they've got the players on the pitch now who can just keep that ball and see a game out. There's a lot of experience out there, and let's hope they can get these 3 points tonight. But it's been a very solid display, not been a classic game, and I think Neil Ardley will be just delighted just to get them another 3 points on the board, hopefully. Kouiniate
is now back up to his feet. Wasn't a head injury in the end. Not that the referee was to know that, because Kouiniate was down and looked like he was clutching his head. So right to stop the game, but it's a leg injury by the looks of things. He's very slowly making his way off the pitch. Now elsewhere in the National League tonight, Dagenham and Redbridge won, AFC Fylde won, and Barnet winning by 2 goals to 0 at Woking. Let's go to Barnet in early April. If you think the Fylde pitch was bad, wait till you see the Barnet one. It's seen better days, but hopefully over the next 3 weeks or so it starts to improve a little bit in the Champions League. Leipzig beating Tottenham by 2 goals to 0. They're a little bit further behind us here at Meadow Lane, given that they kicked off at 8, and it's 2-2 between Valencia and Atalanta. In League One, Blackpool are getting beat at home by Tranmere by 2-1. Bristol Rovers are 2-0 up at home against Sunderland. Burton 2, Bolton 2, and Pompey are beating Fleetwood by... it's Pompey 2, Fleetwood 2, and if I said that was a championship, forgive me. It's League One. I'm so used to scrolling down one on the app and seeing the championship. That's League One. And in League Two, Carlisle are beating Newport by 2-0. The all-important one, though, here at Meadow Lane, Notts leading against Aldershot by 3-1. Should things stay the same, the Magpies will go up to third in the National League table this evening and on to 60 points. They'd be 6 behind Harrogate, who, by the way, are going to play 3 times in the next few weeks, twice in the FA Trophy, once in the league. 2 of those games will be here at Meadow Lane, and 10 points behind Barrow. There's going to be another change as well, as Tom Crawford is being readied. So who's going to come off? I think it's going to be Mitchell Rose by the looks of the illuminated board that I can only half see behind the 4th official. That's going to have a free kick in a moment, and here comes Crawford and off goes Rose. Rose started the night as skipper. Bit of a ropey start to the night as well. His distribution was poor at times, but in the second half he's shown exactly what he's out there for, and that is to be energetic, to battle, to win the ball, and the Notts County fans around Meadow Lane are recognising that and giving him a nice ovation as he makes way.
Yeah, deserved. He worked very hard out there today. Covers a lot of ground again. It's a lot of unseen work that he does in that role in front of the back four. Just sometimes in possession he could have been a little bit better tonight, and I think sometimes he tries a bit the Hollywood ball sometimes when there's an easier pass on. I think that's probably why they got Doyle in that position now, just to see out the game. But he did very well tonight, Mitchell Rose. Proud of his performance.
And Crawford will slot into that midfield. He's scored 2 in his last 2 appearances. Dennis on the turn on a hat-trick.
That's confidence
Talk
for
about
you.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Controls the ball on the chest, spins 25 yards out, first time left-footed volley, not his preferred foot as well, and 25 yards out, 20 yards over the top of the crossbar, I think, that one. But as I say, Notts up to third in the table as things stand. If we were to go back, say, a week, only 3 points separated the Magpies in 6th and Bromley down in 12th. Now Dover are in 12th on 53 points, Notts up to 60 points in 3rd, so a bit of a cushion has opened up there, as well as there has done between 3rd and 8th. So Notts in 3rd, were they to stay there, awful long way to go, let's be honest, but 2nd and 3rd are guaranteed a home game in the semi-finals, whereas if you finish anywhere lower than that, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, as Notts are going to have to do some last-ditch defending here, as Van Velzen beared down on the Notts goal, and it was a really good last-ditch tackle from Jim O'Brien, who's down and feeling the after effects of that on the edge of his own 6-yard box. That was enough to prevent Aldershot from getting a goal back and making it interesting in the last 5 minutes plus stoppage time. Scotsman's up anyway and he's fine. But yeah, Notts, 2nd and 3rd get a home semi-final. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th have to play off to get to the semi-finals in the playoff quarter-finals, with 4th and 5th playing at home against 6th and 7th. But at the moment, 3rd Notts down to 8th Woking. Woking looking on the outside and getting beat by 2-1 tonight by Barnet. There's a 5-point cushion that's opened up between Notts and Woking, so that in itself steps in the right direction from the Magpies as they look to make it 4 wins on the spin this evening in all competitions, that is. They've won their last 2 in the league, 1 at Barrow, 1 at Fylde. They've got Eastleigh coming here at home on Saturday, and obviously expectations will only rise, John Thompson, as the Magpies continue to look good.
Yeah, and rightly so, and that's what players have got to thrive on. They're in a great position now. Confidence is high, some great results lately. You've got to just keep kicking on now and beating these teams.
Jim O'Brien floating the ball up over the top. Kyle Watton was just about onside, but good tackling back there from Lyons Foster again. And Aldershot back in possession, just enjoying a bit more possession over the last 2 or 3 minutes or so. 9:30 on your Tuesday night. Thanks for being with us on BBC Radio Nottingham. It's match night. Sport with you again on Friday with the Terrace from 6 o'clock until 7, and then match day is at 1:30 on Saturday. Sheffield Wednesday against Nottingham Forest, Notts County against Eastleigh, and updates on Mansfield against Crewe. Free kick for Aldershot, about 10 to 12 yards inside the Notts half. It's James Rowe, formerly of Tranmere, Cheltenham, Forest Green, comes across to take it, and with his right foot will knock it long up towards the goalkeeper, Joe McDonnell, who climbs high and plucks the ball out of the sky. A word on that save earlier on from what was an absolute thunderbolt of an attempt from 25 yards from the man who scored their goal, Craig Tanner. I mean, again, you're looking at key moments that can change the game.
Yep, and that's why you have that keeper there. It was probably just fingertips. It was a great strike, and just those little fingertips to touch it onto the crossbar. Within a couple of minutes, Notts have gone up the other end and scored, and it just shows how football can change just in those little moments. It was a great save by the goalkeeper. He'd be very happy with that. And I think the players will respect it as well.
Throwing into the edge of the
Everyone's played a part, I think, tonight, Charlie.
Absolutely, yeah, certainly have done. It's Jim O'Brien on the ball. Plays it out to Enzio on the left wing, back to McCrory. First time left-footed cross is not a bad one in at the near post. Wotton's touch takes him wide, though, back out onto the left-hand side once more. It's Dutchman against Dutchman, Baldwin against Van Velzen, two guys that go back a long way together, to Utrecht in Holland and to Crawley as well. Another cross into the penalty area, hits the top of Wotton's head. They're queuing up to try and put a body on the end of it, and in the end it was a case of after you, Maud, and after you, Claude, between Wotton and Crawford, neither of them getting on the end of it ultimately, and Aldershot come away with it. Doyle and Rawlinson just about keeping hold of possession for Notts. Tom Crawford tried to control the ball on his chest and it ended up smacking him on the nose instead. But Aldershot clear down the near side and it goes out for a Notts throw.
Yeah, the game's gone a little bit dead, hasn't it? I think Aldershot all but giving up in this game. Notts look very comfortable. They're just passing the ball around. They're not really going for that fourth goal at this point. There's no point. Let's just see it all out. Everyone's happy. Long trip home for the Aldershot players who did try. You can see that the team that are going to struggle in this division. They've no real exceptional talent, but as a team they faced some problems to Notts County tonight, but overall that bit of class showed through. The better team is going to win this game. Notts have got to really use this now as momentum to keep this run going that they're on.
Yeah. They're inside the final minute now of the 90. Notts County leading by 3-1. Aldershot started the night 5 points clear of the National League relegation zone and in 17th place. That is where they remain this evening. As I mentioned earlier on in the evening, they are only in the National League and not the National League South by the skin of their teeth. They finished 21st last season, which would have seen them relegated were it not for Gateshead financial problems. Lovely ball from Doyle, finds Enzio Baldwin. He's got Tom Crawford to the left of him. Crawford into the area, shot straight at the goalkeeper. Poor finish in the end, but there you see what Michael Doyle brings to the team as he immediately recognises the counter-attacks on, and bang, forward they go.
And now he has the ball again, just keeping it nice and easy. Yeah, it's just those little decisions.
Floats one this time down the right-hand side. Goalkeeper's come for it. Going to have to clear it away into the Derek Pavis stand as Kyle Wotton.
I think Crawford will be disappointed not to score there. He was true one-on-one. I think he could have taken a bit of a touch. He had a bit more time than he thought. He's got a shot away, but the keeper saved it quite easy. But I think he could have had a little bit more time there.
You might just hear it over the tannoy. 4 minutes of additional time have been added on at the end of this one. And the Magpies have a throw-in. As some of the players that aren't involved in the squad this evening, injured players, Amanda Bakayoko and Ben Turner, get up and we'll head downstairs. Earlier on, Osborne and Christian Oxlade-Chamberlain did likewise. Man of the match is being announced. Christian Dennis is the man who's been given the sponsors man of the match. Do you agree with that, Tomo?
Yeah, probably Cal Roberts for me. I think I just think how he performed even in the first half when things weren't going well would have been the best. But when as a goal scorer, you score 2 goals in a game, you generally get man of the match. So, you know, Christian Dennis is a worthy winner, but I would have probably went just for Cal Roberts.
This is neat play by Notts as they get away down the right-hand side. Only Dennis in the end with the poor pass that gives it back to Aldershot. Niate plays it inside. Paniatu, first time I've said his name in ages, picks it up, middle of the Notts half, out to the right-hand side. Cross goalwards, Michael Doyle sticks his face on the line and smacks the ball into him. Does the cross of Fowler. Doyle won't mind. It's all part and parcel of the game. Van Velzen with the ball on the right-hand touchline. He's going to get a free kick as he squeezes between 2 Notts players and goes over a leg. We played just over 90 seconds of the 4 minutes added on at the end of the game. As I say, Notts County leading Aldershot by 3-1. I'll do with a few days off just so my voice can recover. I mean, I could, do with a rest myself, mate. It just doesn't happen with us. You see the squad rotation and all that. Torquay next Tuesday, for example. Where's my... Never mind. Free kick. Aldershot will take it near the corner flag, about 10 yards back up the touchline. One-man wall of Baldwin in front of him. Every other Notts player back in the penalty area looking to defend this. They do, effectively enough. And now there's a possible counter-attack on. Crawford down the right-hand side. He's being held up. Good tackle made there by Van Velzen, and then Panayatu comes over the top and then steps over him as well. Bit of aggression shown in the dying stages as Aldershot want the ball back quickly. Anything they score now will only be in consolation with around 90 seconds remaining of the 4 minutes added on. Ball's in the centre circle, now out to this left-hand side with Rowe. Notts have got plenty of black and white shirts back. It's only Wotton and Enzio who aren't behind the ball at this point. Out to the right-hand side it goes, cross into the penalty area. Rawlinson comes for it, heads it clear. Enzio will get on the end of this one, hold the ball up and wait for options. As John Thompson said not too long ago, Magpies have kind of given up on going for a fourth. Although Tom Crawford had a very good opportunity to get a third in 3 games for him and a fourth of the night for the Magpies into the final minute of stoppage time now here at Meadow Lane, and job well done by Neil Ardley and his team. The fact that he's managed to make 7 changes, get a bit of rest into players. Yes, Rawlinson's had to come on, yes, Doyle has had to come on as well, but nowhere near the same sort of physical battle it would have been had they been on from the beginning. Here they go again, nice ball forwards through the lines from Jim O'Brien to Kyle Wotton. He's got the ball down near the corner flag where he's going to keep it, which might not be all that popular amongst Notts supporters. A look to win a corner kick, nearly does. Clearance away, Dion Kelly-Evans is forwards. He'll rat around until the dying end. He gets well there done. In front of Chislett, wins a free kick. I really rate him. Dion Kelly-Evans gives absolutely everything. And yeah, he's not the tallest, but my word, he makes up for it in a lot of ways.
Very steady full-back performance from him. Every time I've seen him, he's the same. He's Mr. Dependable. And he's very good tonight, as were a lot of players, particularly in the second half. I think a lot of them stepped their game up a little bit. I don't know whether it came from the manager at half-time, but there was definitely an increase in performance level from a lot of the players in the second half. And that's that extra gear that I talk about a little bit with Notts. When you see them, teams can't live with them when they take it up that notch.
The referee will blow his full-time whistle. Notts County will win their 3rd league game on the spin, their 4th in all competitions. They have now won 6 of their last 8, 11 of their last 17. They look to be hitting form right at the right time.